Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and we have some more morning Prince Andrew news for you. We have a bit of breaking news, actually. This story is developing now as we speak, but it's been reported for a while that Prince Andrew is named in some new documents that a judge is thinking about unsealing before 2020. So the Daily Mail now is running this story. And the headline is, Prince Andrew is named in explosive pages of new evidence detailing further allegations against his billionaire pedophile former friend Jeffrey Epstein. So, like I said, the walls are closing in fast on the prince. Everybody is calling for him to go under oath and speak to the FBI and tell the FBI what he knows about Epstein's operations. The whole, I didn't see nothing, I didn't hear nothing, I didn't talk about anything, that's not going to work. That's just not going to work in this case because there's so much evidence that points the other way that it's almost impossible for anyone in their right mind to defend this man. And if you are defending this man, you probably need to get your brain checked. All right, so let's hop right into it. Prince Andrew has allegedly been named in secret new evidence detailing further allegations against his pedophile former friend Jeffrey Epstein. A U.S. judge will decide within the next 6 weeks whether to unseal more than 3,000 pages of new evidence about alleged crimes by the billionaire financier. Why wouldn't you unseal that, judge? If this judge does not unseal these documents, then this judge needs to be investigated as well, because obviously he's playing games too. I have zero care about who is named in these files. If it brings down the whole entire establishment on its head, then hey, let's do it. Let's get started. Hundreds of people are thought to be named in the files, including the Duke of York, as well as other well-known politicians and business figures, it has been claimed. All of those named in the files, which included statements from 29 people, will be formally told before January so they can respond, reported the Daily Telegraph. The evidence is allegedly linked to a defamation lawsuit by Epstein victim Virginia Roberts against his alleged co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. So, like I said, even though Epstein is dead, don't let anybody tell you that they can't still sue these other people and they can't go forward with these cases, because they can. The only reason they wouldn't is because they don't want to. That would be the only reason for them not to chase these people down. Like Ghislaine Maxwell, there is zero reason why this lady is not arrested at this point. Brunel, why isn't he arrested? They're just running around. They're probably still doing what they were doing, but it doesn't matter, right? Because they're being protected by their buddies in the intelligence. Andrew denied in an interview on BBC Newsnight on Saturday that he slept with Miss Roberts on 3 separate occasions, twice while she was underage under U.S. law. He also said his relationship with Epstein had some seriously beneficial outcomes, giving him the chance to meet people and prepare for a future role as a trade envoy. Again, if you need Jeffrey Epstein to help you prepare for your role as the trade envoy, perhaps you aren't right for the job as the trade envoy. Just saying. I mean, what could Jeffrey Epstein possibly offer the prince that someone in their atmosphere couldn't offer him already? Andrew said one alleged encounter with Miss Roberts in 2001 did not happen, as he spent the day with his daughter, Princess Beatrice, taking her to Pizza Express in Woking for a party. Where is Prince Andrew now left legally? Police interview for Andrew? Scotland Yard has ruled out any inquiry in the UK, but the FBI and the French authorities are conducting investigations. Scotland Yard has ruled out any inquiry in the UK. Why? Why are you so obsessed with these royals over in the United Kingdom? I don't understand it. What is the big deal? If this guy was implicated, why wouldn't Scotland Yard want to talk to him? It is possible for the FBI or French police to issue a letter of request direct to Scotland Yard for assistance in taking a statement from the royal. They could request that an interview takes place with either British detectives or French or American investigators if they travel to the UK to meet him. That's preferable for me. I prefer American investigators speaking to him, and I prefer bulldog prosecutors talking to him. If you guys can send a SWAT team to Roger Stone's house and drag this man out of his bed, his wife out of her bed in her undergarments, then you better talk to Prince Andrew. The FBI could also issue a request for mutual legal assistance via the Home Office, but any statement or interview would only be voluntary, and it is not possible to force a potential suspect or witness to cooperate without a warrant for their arrest. Andrew cannot be subpoenaed to give testimony because he lives outside the jurisdiction of the U.S. courts. So, without the English on board, then Andrew's going to get away with this. So you guys better keep holding his feet to the fire over there in England. Anna Rothwell of law firm Corker Binning said yesterday those connected to Epstein were vulnerable to extradition due to the ongoing FBI investigation. Is extradition possible? The FBI would first consider if there is enough evidence to charge him with an offense. A formal extradition request would be made. The Home Secretary would have to decide whether to certify the request before it would be sent to Westminster Magistrates Court to consider. A judge would need to be satisfied that his conduct amounts to an extraditable offense by considering whether there was evidence of guilt and if extradition would breach human rights. An order would still need to be signed off by the Home Secretary. Yesterday's lawyers claimed an extradition request to the U.S. would be hard to resist. Due to the European agreements we currently have in place, extradition to France would be a more straightforward process. Wow. So, this is the point we're at, right? Who would ever even thought we'd be at the point of talking about extradition for Prince Andrew? Who ever thought we'd be here, where we're at right now? But because we keep pushing forward, because we keep hammering these people, we're starting to see some results. We're starting to see people, at the very least, have to answer questions. Questions must be asked. Questions must be answered. The same alleged sexual liaison, which the American said began with the Duke sweating heavily as they danced at a London nightclub Tramp, was claimed to have been factually wrong, as Andrew said he had a medical condition at the time which meant he did not sweat. The Duke has been dealt a major blow this week after a sponsor of his flagship business project said it was not renewing support as calls continued for him to make a statement about Epstein. See, this is how it happens. There's no way he's going to be pressured into speaking about this if it's just the media pushing him or people like us pushing him, demanding it. You got to hit these people in their pocketbooks, right? You have to have the help of people who give them money. The people who are enabling them need to stop enabling them. Andrew is facing an embarrassing prospect of charities and institutions he is associated with distancing themselves as lawyers for the convicted sex offenders' victims urged him to tell U.S. authorities what he knows. The Duke was caught up in further controversy when a newspaper columnist claimed Andrew used a racially offensive word during a Buckingham Palace meeting in 2012. The Queen and other senior royals are said to back and believe Andrew's defense of himself in the BBC interview 100%, sources told the Evening Standard. Wow, talk about a case of confirmation bias, huh? There is no way that you can tell me that deep down the Queen believes this, and if she does, maybe she's just as sick as her son is. Maybe those genes were passed down. I don't know what the Queen is up to. Who knows what she was up to in the royal estate? We don't know. One alleged Epstein victim gave an emotional account of her ordeal as she launched a civil lawsuit against the sex offender's estate and made a direct appeal to the Duke after her lawyer, Gloria Allred, called on him to make a statement. The 31-year-old, known only as Jane Doe 15, said, "I would also like to say I agree with Gloria that Prince Andrew and any others that are close to Epstein should come forward and give a statement under oath on what information they have." And she's not wrong about that. I'm not a fan of Gloria Allred or her daughter, but this girl is not wrong about that. Whatever information Andrew has on Epstein, he needs to come forward with it. Why does he have to be subpoenaed and all this other jazz? If you truly cared about people and you were innocent, you would step forward. I know if it was me caught up in this and I didn't do anything that I said, you better believe it would be on. Forget that sort of composed interview. I'd be going crazy. Imagine someone accused you of raping a kid. That interview that he gave certainly wouldn't have been anything like the interview I would have given. I would have been going crazy. I would have been... Not only that, I'd be suing the shit out of everybody. Believe it. But no, he has all the hallmarks of somebody who is guilty, folks. I'm sorry. It's impossible to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. The fallout from Andrew's Newsnight appearance has already begun, with the Outward Bound Trust, which the Duke supports as patron, saying it will hold a board meeting in the next few days when members will discuss issues raised by Saturday's interview. So if this keeps happening and all these boards keep pushing him out, he's going to have no other choice but either A, to retire from public life and live a life of complete scorn and embarrassment, or he's going to have to come forward and talk. The student jury at Huddersfield University, where Andrew is chancellor, passed a motion to lobby the Duke to resign, with a full statement expected from the students' union today. Good for them. Good for Huddersfield. Just because this guy's a royal doesn't mean squat. Who cares, man? Who cares? KPMG's sponsorship contract with Andrew's Pitch at Palace, a mentoring scheme for tech startups and entrepreneurs, expired at the end of October and will not be renewed. Pharmaceutical giant AstraZeneca told the Daily Telegraph it is also reviewing its future with the mentoring scheme. Andrew's appearance on Newsnight to explain his friendship with a convicted sex offender and deny allegations of having sex with an underage teenager has been widely condemned, but the Duke is said to be standing by his decision to put out his side of the story. Well, yeah, what else is he going to do about this point? What could he possibly do at this point besides stand beside his story? This guy is literally the laughingstock of the world right now because of his nonsense. Just 16% of people believe Andrew after Epstein interview. 16%, folks. And I'm guessing not one of those 16% are tuning into this podcast, huh? Just 16% of Brits believe Prince Andrew was telling the truth during his disastrous BBC interview. A survey by one poll reveals just how badly the broadcast has gone down with the general public. Only 16% believe his claim that he has no recollection of meeting Virginia Roberts when she was 17, whom he is alleged to have had sex with. The same figure believes his alibi that he was at Pizza Express in Woking when Virginia Roberts alleged the incident took place. Just 17% believe his claims that he cannot sweat due to the medical condition picked up during the Falklands War. More than half, 54%, think his decision to do the interview has damaged the royal family's reputation. Yeah, you think? But really, it's not even the interview that's damaged the royal family's reputation. It's the diddling of little kids, all right? That's what has damaged the reputation. And almost two-thirds, 63%, said they thought Prince Andrew had done victims of sexual abuse a disservice by describing Epstein's offending as unbecoming. Your whole interview was unbecoming. In fact, your whole entire life seems to be unbecoming, princely boy. Last night in a press conference in Los Angeles, another victim of Epstein urged Prince Andrew to share information on his former friend who was found hanged in a U.S. jail in August. More than half, 58% of the 1,000 UK adults surveyed by one poll think Andrew should now volunteer himself to the FBI to be questioned as part of the investigation. The poll also revealed 63% said they felt sorry for the Queen after the 93-year-old following her son's relationship with the convicted sex offender and his Newsnight interview. So 58% of Brits that were polled believe that he should volunteer to talk to the FBI. If public opinion is this much against him in the UK even, this guy's going to eventually have to speak to the FBI. U.S. lawyer Spencer Coven, who represents a woman who claims she was a victim of Epstein, told BBC Radio's 4 Today program that Andrew should come forward to help the ongoing investigations into the disgraced American financier. Pedophile. Prime Minister Boris Johnson was asked if he would encourage Andrew to cooperate with U.S. authorities about his knowledge of the disgraced financier's activities, but he brushed the question off during an election campaign event at the CBI annual conference, saying, "Nice try there." What does that even mean, Boris Johnson? Nice try there? So what, you're enabling him? Were you involved too, Mr. Johnson? Did you hang out with these dudes? It also emerged yesterday that Miss Roberts has given an interview to BBC's Panorama. It is understood that the 35-year-old reiterated her claims that she slept with Andrew and she was just 17 after being tracked by Epstein. The interview, which was filmed 3 weeks ago, is due to be broadcast in the coming weeks. So we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll let you guys know exactly when that's going to come out. That way we can watch it, and we can go through it, and we can, see what's up. The Duke's interview on Saturday has been widely criticized, with commentators questioning his responses and condemning his unsympathetic tone and seeming lack of remorse over the friendship with Epstein, who killed himself in jail allegedly, while facing sex trafficking charges. The Evening Standard published on its front page the claim made by its columnist Rohan Silva that while a Downing Street aide specializing in the tech economy, the Duke made a racist remark. He told the newspaper that when he asked Andrew if the government department responsible for trade could be doing a better job, the Duke replied, "Well, if you'll pardon the expression, that really is the N in the woodpile." Sources have categorically denied that Andrew used the word. A Buckingham Palace spokesman declined to comment on the Telegraph's report. All right, well, that's a little bit of fodder at the end there. If he used that word, well, obviously, shouldn't be using words like that, especially as somebody who's supposed to be so refined and above the rest of us. But that's neither here nor there. That's for another day to talk about. The real problem here is this dude is accused of rape by an underage girl, and he is not voluntarily talking to the FBI. He's doing just an interview where he thought he was going to get, the white glove treatment. Thankfully, he didn't. Thankfully, BBC held his feet to the fire, but that's not good enough. It's not good enough for the victims, it's not good enough for us, and it's obviously not good enough for the English. So, Prince Andrew, the ball is in your court, my man. When are you going to go talk to the FBI? When are you going to stand up and do the right thing? When are you going to be dignified? Because guess what? Your behavior, pretty unbecoming. All right, everybody. I will be back later on tonight with the Daily Drop. But before then, this afternoon, I will have that Newsweek article that I was talking about with that silly article that really just doesn't understand the situation. And, in fact, it's one of those articles that actually almost hurts the victims as opposed to pushing the narrative forward of justice for them. So I will be back later tonight, and I hope you guys all have a great day. I am on my way to the mountains right now. A little bit of rain in the forecast. Going to get a nice climb in. Nice and recharged and prepared for more in the trenches warfare against the elites. Remember, folks, together we can make media great again.